at 6.
Eagle Eye has done a great job.
Welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6.
We are just having a great time here in Auburn, Alabama. The party is not over yet.
Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Alice Estes.
And I'm Ethan Clements. Thank you for joining us.
The Auburn City Schools $400 million master plan is officially underway. ACS has long-term plans to renovate Auburn Junior High School, as well as create a new high school and middle school. Additionally, certain elementary schools will be demolished and replaced, all by 2035. Eagle Eye's Lucas Hazelrig has the story.
Hello, my name is Lucas Hazelrig, and I am here on the construction grounds of a new high school here in Auburn, Alabama. But that is not the only project that the city has up their sleeves.
The new high school will be on a 128-acre plot of land off of North Donahue Drive, directly across from the Auburn University Club neighborhood. The school will accommodate the ever-expanding student population with benefits outside of academics as well, because double the schools means double the potential student involvement.
One of the biggest things that is going to come out of having two high schools in Auburn is doubling the opportunity for students, not only when it comes to athletics, but performing arts, career tech opportunities. When these two schools are open at the same time, they'll be very comparable. You'll have the same exact offerings. So a student who may not have the opportunity to get involved at the current high school when it comes to your smaller team sports or clubs and things of that nature, the opportunity is doubled with a second high school. Now, granted, you can have 160, 170 student athletes on a football team that a football field can accommodate, but you can't fit 170 guys in a dugout of a baseball team. So really just giving double the opportunity for students to excel.
Auburn Junior High School will also be undergoing some renovations. Additionally, a new middle school will be built in tandem with the new high school on a newly purchased plot of land near Will Buchner Parkway. An identity for the school has yet to be announced, unlike the high school, which is a little further along in this process, already with a new name.
So the middle school will obviously develop its own identity and branding, but it will be more under the system at this point. So we're really focused right now on the branding of the second high school. As we mentioned on the front end of this interview, it was board approved to be Plains High School. Immediately the first question was, what's the mascot and what are the colors? We do have a committee that met for the first time last week that is made up of parents, teachers, city leaders, people from the business community, various stakeholders, to have input on what that mascot and what that color scheme will be. That committee will reconvene in early April, so I will be able to give you updates on that come then.
The name Plains is of course synonymous with the city of Auburn, but there is some history that goes along with that you might not know.
Plains is a descriptor of Auburn, Alabama. There was a poem written in 1770 by the Irish poet Oliver Goldsmith, the first line of which is Auburn, the loveliest village of the plains. And that's where Auburn got its nickname, loveliest village of the plains. That's the reference we used to go with Plains High School.
The plan also includes the demolition and reconstruction of Wrights Mill Road Elementary School and Dean Road Elementary School.
Dean Road and Wrights Mill Road Elementary Schools are a pair within our current system. They are two of the oldest campuses in our school system, and they've really truly just reached the end of life. And what that means is when you get to a building as old as they are, you can paint, you can do carpet, you can do renovations, but at some point you got to be able to adequately accommodate the students and provide their needs when it comes to their educational journey here in Auburn City Schools.
All city school projects are set to conclude by 2031. For Eagle Eye TV, I'm Lucas Hazelrig.
Some new renovations are coming to buildings on campus, including the bookstore inside the Haley Center and Neville Arena, home of the top-ranked basketball team in the nation. The Auburn University Board of Trustees approved refurbishments totaling over $2 million for the bookstore and over $9 million for Neville Arena. Improvements to the arena will include the practice gym, scholarship lobby, team lobby, and office spaces. The renovated bookstore will include new floors, ceilings and walls, upgraded lighting, and a revamped technology center.
We're actually one of the smallest college bookstores of any of our peers, so we maximize every square inch. And what we're doing is looking at how we work through our pickup operations for orders for books, We're going to play around a little bit with the space that each is given and how students will come in and interact with those spaces. We're also going to change the very front entrance here in the store. Both entrances, actually, the concourse and the Haley Center entrance. Our registers take up a lot of space, and we're actually going to modernize those looks so that it's a lot easier to get in and out, especially if you've ever been in a football game. It'll make it a much more comfortable experience to come in and shop. We're doing this to coincide with the bookstore's 80th anniversary. We've been here for 80 years, and one thing about the stores, we're never happy where we are, so we're always looking to make improvements. We're going to roll out a lot of enhancements to the store. We look really forward to rolling out some new programs that are geared towards students that we're going to keep under wraps until the fall, but we can't wait to have you guys come back in, see us, and get a really new bookstore with some new features that we've never been able to do previously.
Last Friday, the Jay and Susie Googe Performing Arts Center continued its 2024-2025 season with Voctave, the corner of Broadway and Main Street. It was a show performed by the a cappella group Voctave that ran for 2 hours and featured songs from several Broadway and Disney musicals. A cappella is an entirely vocal style of musical performance that uses no instrumental accompaniment. Instead of trying to simply perform songs better than the originals, Voctave built off of them, introducing their own unique spin on how the numbers can be performed while still preserving their original charm, culminating in an unforgettable experience.
As Auburn's baseball season started this past weekend, sophomore outfielder Cade Ballou played for a cause bigger than baseball. Ballou discovered Friday morning, just hours before Auburn's season opener, that his mom, Stacy, had lost her battle with cancer. Ballou decided to play anyway and paid tribute to his mom by blasting a solo home run over the right center wall in the 6th inning. As Ballou reached home plate, his teammates embraced him, realizing that home run means way more than one run added to the scoreboard. Auburn would go on to win the season opener over Holy Cross 4-1.
When we come back, you'll get a weather update from Eagle Eye's Beauman Ivester and a political update from Ben Bradfield's Eye on the Hill. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News. Webster here with your weather outlook for this week on the plains. Snow week might be a distant memory, and you might have already put your coats up for the year, but for this week, you're going to want to bring them back out if you haven't already. It was freezing this morning, and it's not going to get much warmer throughout the week. Tomorrow we will have a high of 59 and a low of 41, so a little bit warmer, but that's as warm as it's going to be this week. Wednesday we will see temps dropping back down to a high of 50 and a low of 25, and that day we'll also have an 81% chance of rain. The sun will be out on Thursday, but we will most likely won't notice it as we will see a high of 41 and a very cold low of 20. Friday will be mostly sunny with a high of 49 and a low of 27, so make sure you have your coats on as you walk to class. Moving on into the weekend, temperatures are going to rise slightly. Saturday we will see a high of 55 and a low of 36. Sunday we will have a high of 53 and a low of 35, as well as a 42% chance of rain. And based on the current forecast, it's hopefully going to warm back up next week. That's all I've got for you tonight. Again, from Eagle Eye News, my name is Beauman Ivester. Let's head on over to the Hill for a political update with Ben Bradfield.
Hello and welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Ben Bradfield with Eye on the Hill, here to give you an update on all things politics. A 7th prosecutor has resigned over the Justice Department's effort to dismiss the corruption charges that New York City Mayor Eric Adams is facing. Hagen Scotton served as a line prosecutor for the case and was placed on administrative leave for not signing off on the dismissal. In a letter to Acting Deputy Attorney General Emile Beauvais, Scotton wrote that the Justice Department would have to, quote, find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to file your motion, end quote. Adams pleaded not guilty to the 5 federal charges he faces. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska has introduced a bill to change the name of Mount McKinley back to Denali. The legislation proposes the name Denali be used in all official references to North America's highest peak, including in U.S. laws, maps, regulations, and other records. Murkowski said in a statement, "It's not a political issue," and that she's introduced the same legislation in 3 previous Congresses. Former President Barack Obama had given the Alaska landmark the name Denali back in 2015 as a nod to the region's native population. However, President Trump signed an executive order shortly after taking office to rename it Mount McKinley in honor of former President McKinley. That's all for Eye on the Hill. When we come back, you'll get a national news update from Alice and Ethan. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. At least 9 people have died after a powerful storm raced across the eastern U.S. Saturday night into Sunday. Between 3 and 5 inches of rain have fallen across swaths of the Ohio and Tennessee valleys, flooding streets and forcing evacuations, and tens of thousands remain without power across several states. Reed Binion has the latest.
A powerful and deadly storm hammered the eastern United States this weekend, with as much as 6 inches of rain in some areas flooding homes, businesses, and roads, especially in Kentucky, where at least 8 people were killed in storm-related incidents.
So many of these fatalities were due to attempts to drive through water and through moving water. So folks, stay off the roads right now and stay alive.
First responders carried out more than 1,000 water rescues since Saturday, including a nursing home just across the border in Tennessee that was forced to evacuate due to rising waters.
Everybody's taken care of. They have the meds they need, the oxygen, the beds, the warmth. They don't have to worry about food and being scared. They're in a safe place.
Multiple tornado warnings went out across Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee late Saturday. The mayor of Tuscumbia, Alabama, says one of the city's middle schools lost their roof.
We have a lot of damage downtown. You can see behind me, roofs are blown off. Most of our buildings downtown. We lost one of my middle school, R.E. Thompson. The roof blew off a bit.
The storm toppled trees in Georgia. One man says a large tree narrowly missed his home.
It was like eggs cracking when you step on some eggs, and luckily it didn't kill my wife or my nephew.
Tens of thousands of people across the region are still without power, and states of emergency have been declared in at least 3 states. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
A shipment of heavy bombs from the United States has arrived in Israel after President Donald Trump's administration last month lifted a hold on the deliveries, Israel's Ministry of Defense said Sunday. Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz said in a statement that the shipment of Mk-84 munitions, quote, represents a significant asset for the Air Force and the IDF and serves as further evidence of the strong alliance between Israel and the United States, end quote. Katz thanked Trump and the U.S. administration for their unwavering support. The new administration's release of the heavy bomb shipments rolled back one of the few Biden-era policies meant to exert leverage on Israel during its war in Gaza. Former President Joe Biden had restricted the delivery of the 2,000-pound bombs out of concern they could be used indiscriminately by Israel's military in the densely populated areas of Gaza. Despite causing tensions between Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the move did not portend any major changes in the war, nor did it significantly improve Biden's standing among critics of the war, who argued for significantly tighter restrictions on American arms sales to Israel. The head of Gaza's government media office, Salama Marouf, criticized the U.S. decision to send the heavy bombs, saying, quote, instead of sending food, medicine, water, or shelter and building materials to the victims in the Gaza Strip, even with a humanitarian motive, the United States of America, the first democracy in the world and a pioneer of human rights, as it describes itself, supports the criminal occupation army with 1,800 heavy Mk bombs, end quote.
Trump administration officials say they will present to the president a plan to combat avian flu. Director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, and Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, are expected to lay out the plan. Hassett says the plan addresses biosecurity issues and involves medication that would avoid killing chickens. The U.S.'s approach to bird flu has long been focused on eradication. However, that strategy may be shifting as the virus spreads to other types of animals and becomes harder to contain. The officials said their plan should be ready by next week. When we return, you'll get an Auburn sports update with Cohen Dalzell. You are watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Cohen Dalzell, back to give you a recap on all the big stories that happened in Auburn sports last week. Let's get right on into it. Let's start out with number 1 Auburn men's basketball, who after the loss to Florida got right back on track in their 2 games last week. They took care of business in Nashville, avoiding a loss against a tough Vanderbilt team, 80-68. Once that was done, it was all eyes to Saturday in the first AP number 1 versus number 2 matchup in SEC men's basketball history, as the Tigers traveled to a hostile Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa to take on number 2 Alabama. Auburn took care of the Tide, leading from start to finish to win the top 2 showdown 94-85. Janai Broom led the Tigers with 19 points and 14 rebounds. 5 other Tigers finished in double figures, with Denver Jones scoring 16, Miles Kelly and Chad Baker-Mazzara putting in 15, Chaney Johnson adding 14, and Tahad Pettiford rounding out the scoring with 13. Auburn hosts Arkansas in Georgia this week at Neville Arena. Women's basketball had a week with a trio of upset chances. Unfortunately, Auburn could not take advantage. The Tigers lost to number 16 Oklahoma in a thrilling 73-71 game that came down to the final minutes on Monday. They traveled up to Rocky Top Thursday to play the 15th-ranked Lady Vols, where they lost 99-61. Finally, they wrapped up the week yesterday at home at Neville Arena to host Vanderbilt, who they took to overtime, but picked up the loss once again, 98-88. Deanna Gaston hit another career milestone against Vandy, scoring her 1,500th points of her collegiate career. She's one of the best scorers in the country, and she is showing it this season. Women's Hoops travels to play the Crimson Tide in Tuscaloosa this upcoming Sunday. Auburn softball continued their undefeated streak this weekend, playing in the Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational in Florida. The Tigers rattled off 6 straight wins against power conference opponents, including a stunning 2-1 upset of 9th-ranked Oklahoma State on Saturday. Auburn softball is 11-0 and continues their season this weekend in the Rocket City Showcase. Number 22 Auburn baseball had their opening weekend on the Plains, hosting Holy Cross for a 3-game set. The Tigers won the first game on the campaign 4-1 Friday night before being stunned Saturday 2-1. Auburn got back on track Sunday, scoring 14 runs in a 14-6 thrashing of the Crusaders in the rubber match. Auburn takes on Troy in North Alabama this week before hosting Wright State for a 3-game series this weekend. 12th-ranked Auburn Gymnastics traveled down to Gainesville to match up with number 3 Florida. The Tigers couldn't hang with the Gators as they lost 197.625 to 196.825. Gymnastic heads to Tuscaloosa to face Alabama this Friday. Number 1 Auburn Equestrian took care of business at home versus 8th-ranked South Carolina on Saturday, winning 14-6 as they continue to cement themselves as the best team in college equestrian. Auburn hosts Georgia in just under 2 weeks on Saturday, March 1st. Finally, men's and women's tennis had action this weekend, with the men's team taking both in a doubleheader against Florida Gulf Coast 4-1 and 5-0 Sunday, while 5th-ranked women's tennis took care of Kansas State at the Yarborough Tennis Center Saturday. The men face off with Florida on Saturday in Gainesville, and the women take on the Gators as well on Sunday at the Yarborough Tennis Center here in Auburn. That's all I have for you tonight. When we come back, you'll get a business/consumer update from Alice and Ethan. I'm Cohen Dalzell for Eagle Eye Sports, and you are watching Eagle Eye News at 6. We'll be right back.
The Agriculture Department has issued a conditional license to a company to produce a bird flu vaccine for chickens. The vaccine maker is Zoetis. A company spokesman says its scientists began updating its existing avian flu vaccine several years ago. And last Friday, the government gave the company a conditional license. The company previously developed vaccines for avian flu to protect California condors in 2023. Other countries already vaccinate their birds against the virus, but the United States has taken a different approach and has tried to eradicate avian flu instead. That strategy may be shifting. Workers have killed more than 150 million birds infected or exposed to the virus since the latest outbreak in 2022. That has led to higher prices for eggs and an egg shortage around the country. Critics say a vaccine is not the answer. They say it might be difficult to detect the virus in vaccinated birds, and other countries may not import birds that are vaccinated.
OpenAI's board of directors has formally rejected a $97 billion purchase offer by Elon Musk and other investors. In a statement posted to social media on Friday, OpenAI's board chair said the company is not for sale, and the board unanimously rejected the bid. There's been a long-running feud between OpenAI and Musk, who co-founded the company known for creating ChatGPT. OpenAI started as a nonprofit research lab with a for-profit entity, but it plans to restructure in a way that could make fundraising easier and increase returns. Musk has criticized that plan as straying from OpenAI's nonprofit mission. Musk left the company back in 2018 after an unsuccessful bid to convince his fellow co-founders to let Tesla acquire it.
Cookie season is here. After the Girl Scouts had their mega drop, delivering a vast amount of cookies to troops and excited customers, Marley Ginter reports.
Familiar flavors and some familiar faces. This is the Girl Scouts' Heart of Central California's mega drop. The day where Thin Mints, Caramel Delights, and every cookie in between is handed out to troops all over the region.
Very efficient. Nobody gets out of their car. They stay right in their car, and we put cookies in the back of the car. So it's just a great way to get them out in the community.
And I have the lemonade.
CBS 13's Marley Ginter and executive producer Katie Coroto led us beat tag-alongs as they helped their daughter's troop pick up some of the 50,000 cases of cookies that'll go out in 18 counties.
There's all these great skills that they're going to learn. They're going to learn people skills, they're going to learn how to budget, work with money, and just, the salesmanship, right?
We got the toe shaved. Yay!
Their troop is brand new and selling cookies for the very first time. Marley's daughter, Hannah, shared why supporting the Girl Scouts is a sweet treat for everyone.
That I got to meet my mom's friends. And I'm so happy that I get to be with her tomorrow.
The proceeds from each purchase stay local and help Girl Scouts grow.
It helps us get more money and because it helps us know other people.
So they're the ones that are going to be selling. They're the ones learning all of these important skills. And by buying these cookies, you're supporting them. You're giving them the opportunity to go on camping trips and different field trips and learn to be leaders.
We're out of time, but for more Auburn news, head over to our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, and check out our social media pages. I'm Alice Estes.
And I'm Ethan Clements. Thank you for watching, and War Eagle.